So wherever you are virtually, thank you for joining us. We're going to have a celebration of life in addition to remembering those lives that were lost. So this year we want to have live guests. We have a local indie folk rock group. They're multi-generational 7-member band that proudly identifies as LGBTQ plus. So, and they're called Divine AF. We want to start off with a performance by them, live, Zoom style. And after that, we're going to do a special announcement from a guest speaker. Then we have a speak out panel where we're going to talk about, being inside the community, how the community supports one another, the personal relationships that everybody has within the 7 panelists that we have. And then we're going to do a live Q&A with you. So if you'd like to speak out and participate in the conversation, this is your time. So without further ado, let's welcome Divine AF for a live performance.
This world is a world gone mad right now, and this is a song about that. I hope you enjoy it and find some peace in it, and know that you're not alone. It says Mad World.
Valencia College. We're super excited to be here with you guys today. I'm going to go ahead and introduce the band. My name is Beatrix. I'm a vocalist. This is Miss Susie Hope next to me, and Miss Kat Whitestar. She is our, they're our vocals. Over on bass we have Miss Seven, and on electric guitar we have Miss Jamie G. On the drums we have Claire Franklin, and on acoustic guitar, keys, vocals, everything else, we have Miss Lola Michelle. We are Divine Ants, and so are you. We're shy.
Chuck it all up to die, if you like. Say the fall is mine, if you like. Little dark cloud, are you gonna swim or drown? We could give it all up to the sky tonight, but I know you'd rather rumble all night with thunder bound. Little dark cloud, it's the darkness in your magic eyes. There's gold trapped in your heavy side. Wait all night. I think we need a tidal wave. Your reports of nature to the grave. Jump in and let the water sing. I think we need the earth to quake. Raise your voice, make the ground shake. Don't break the doorway. Little dark cloud. Little dark cloud. I know it seems like the world's gone crazy, but I'd rather be raging than pushing up daisies. Little dark cloud. Baby, I gotta get loud. I know your heart is a fist like mine. Throw it up in the air, swear we're gonna be fine. Little dark cloud. Baby, you gotta get loud. I think we need a tidal wave. Your reports of nature to the grave. Jump in and let the water sing. I think we need the earth to quake. Raise your voice, make the ground shake. The dawn with the day.
Well, you're slipping into the night with a dark cloak. It just feels right, but it's wearing thin. I see the holes where the light is slipping in. So come on, baby, come on. Are you gonna swim? Are you gonna swim? I think we need a tidal wave. Force of nature to the grave. Jump in and let the water sing. I think we need the earth to quake. Raise your voice, make the ground shake. The dawn with the dawn break. I think we need a tidal wave. Force of nature to the grave. Jump in and let the water sing. I think we need the earth to quake. Raise your voice, make the ground shake. The dawn will bring, the dawn will break. Little dark cloud. Little dark cloud.
This next song was the first song we ever wrote together. Here, this is our beautiful home and studio. We like to call it the temple. And we're very fortunate to have this place. And the altar. We have a beautiful altar set up for remembrance today. And our hearts are with you all. This next song is about everyone having their own life's journey.
Ooh, ooh, oh.
And all you non-believers will step in.
Step in.
Cause any sign on your skin, step in.
Step in.
And if you got nothing to live for, please step in.
Step in.
Put your hands in the air and wave goodbye, 'cause the train is leaving right now. We're all passengers on a train. Different paths, different names. What fate has brought us together, but our story's the same. Step in one cut on the board.
Here come on, flat top, we come grooving up slowly. Got juju, eyeball, one holy roller. Got head down to his knees. Not to be a joker, he just do what he please. Shoot. You red shoe shine, you got touch and football, you got monkey finger, you shoot Coca-Cola, you say, I know you, you know me. One thing I can tell you is you got to be free. Come together right now. Production, you got Rory's Gumbo, you got no Sabbath, you want Spinal Cracker, you got feet down below his knees. Hold you in his armchair, you can feel his disease. Come together right now. Over me. Over me. Yeah. Right now, over me.
That was a fun one.
We're very self-congratulatory. We love our band so much. Pay attention because we're doing the little giveaway, right? Okay, cool. Well, we have a question about this next one.
While you guys are asking us questions, we will ask you questions and give you some free stuff. Yay.
Teachers. 25 years in my life is still trying to get up like we're picking off road for a destination.
Said it's been a long time since you came around. Been a long time, but I'm back in town. This time I'm not leaving without you.
Realized quickly when I knew I should, the world was made up of this brotherhood of man. For whatever that means.
Said you taste like whiskey when you kiss me. Oh, I'd give anything again to be a baby doll. This time I'm not leaving without you.
You know I cry sometimes when I'm lying in bed just to get it all out what's in my head. I feel it. Ooh, yeah.
And so I wake in the morning and I step outside and I take a deep breath and I get real high and I scream from the top of my lungs, what's going on?
And I said, hey, yeah, 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 yeah. I see that, what's going on? And I said, hey, yeah, yeah, hey, yeah, yeah. I see that, what's going on?
Sit back down where you belong, in the corner of my bar with your eyes on. Sit back down on the couch where we made love the first time, and you said to me, there's something about this place.
What is this place?
Something about holy nights, my lipstick on your face.
On your face.
Something about just knowing when it's right.
When is
Oh,
it
there's
right?
something about, baby,
living without you. 25 years in life is still trying to get up that great big hill for a destination.
All right.
Hop on them keys, Lova.
Lova's hopping over to the keys.
You want to say something about kintsugi?
Kintsugi is one of our newer songs. Kintsugi is the Japanese art of piecing back together broken things with gold. It honors the past of the piece, and it forms the piece anew. So it's a really good metaphor for what we're all going through right now.
Yeah.
And
not unlike what we're trying to do today.
yes, hopefully we're making things better by all the things that are happening and all the revolution that is just outside your door. The night, it cut like a knife. Sometimes I thought I'd bleed forever. Into the there was something like an ancient code inside. It felt like death to find this gold. Now the cracks they glimmer like kintsugi. The cracks they glimmer like kintsugi. Let the wind, the future golden. Oh, oh, let your lips run wide. I turn out the light. Oh, oh, let the wind, the future golden. Oh, let your lips run wide. I turn out the light. We stained the night with tears we stolen from the shadows. We thought we'd never see the light again, the light again. Let's leave the sand behind to find our new way. Bathe in gold, we find a way to start a new life. Let the wind, the future golden. Oh, oh, let your lips run wide. I turn out the light. Oh, oh, let the wind, the future golden. Let your lips run wide. I turn out the light. I'm so beautiful. I'm so beautifully broken. I'm so beautiful. I'm so beautiful. We're so beautifully broken.
So this next, yay! That's a great song. It's very uplifting for us to do that one. So this next one is a cover. It's one of my favorite covers, but it's also a very iconic song in the LGBTQ community. Oh, are we good? We need a second. So anyway, you guys know Prince. You know Purple Rain, so that's what we're going to sing. And it's going to be awesome. I love it because this song kind of changed my life. Like, when I first started singing, I sang this song, and it just was where I realized I needed to be a singer, I think. So what I think about it. So, Purple Rain.
Never meant to cause you any sorrow. I never meant to cause you any pain. I only wanted one time to see you laughing. Only wanted to see you laughing in the purple rain.
Can't go wrong with Prince. Oh, thanks, buddy. Thank you.
What's wrong with that voice?
Thank you, guys.
Also, this may have been the Purple Rain that Prince was talking about with, people becoming more conscious
Absolutely.
every day about treating everybody as equals. All right, we got 20 minutes. All right, this next song is an original called Human Seed. This is about being supported by love in that purple rain.
Whatever color rain you want, because it's awesome.
I learned a trick of the light when I hold it close, hold it tight. There's dullness too. It takes faith, it takes care, carve intention out of thin air. This great human seed, love is lifting me, love is holding me on this great human seed. Love is lifting us, which is holding the thing faith. To feel on the best, to feel love. Now we take faith to feel this love. Oh, yeah, I am strength on my knees when I learn not to say please, but thank you, and I thank you. I do as I say. I am this day. I give my heart away. Every word on this great human seed. Love is lifting me. Love is holding me. Now on this great human seed. Love is lifting us.
give a shout out to Shauna's bass line in that. Because honestly, one of the best bass lines ever, ever, ever. I love my band so much. We love you. We love each other. Good stuff. Hope this music is making you all, it's lifting you up as it lifts us up.
This song has been hitting a little different for me lately. It's been hitting a little bit closer to home. I feel really impassioned and slightly angry when I sing it. But I think that's a good thing. I think it's good to be a little bit mad right now. Justified, for sure. But I think, you know, there's a healing in that. This is Zombie by the Cranberries.
Another head hangs slowly, child is slowly taken. When the violence guards us silence, we must be mistaken. But you see, it's not me, it's not my family. In your head, they are crying with their tanks and their bombs and their bombs and their guns. In your head, they are fighting. What's in your head? In your head, zombie, zombie, zombie. What's in your head? In your head, zombie, zombie, zombie. Oh. It's the same old scene since 1916. In your head, they're still fighting with their tanks and their bombs and their bombs and their guns. In your head, they are dying. What's in your head? In your head, zombie, zombie.
Y'all stay safe out there.
You could talk about broomsticks. I would love to hear you talk about broomsticks.
So, when I joined this band, they had already written the first EP. And I came on, and Broomsticks was the first song that I actually wrote a new bass line for because it was a song that really touched me. And since then, it's only grown. To me, this song is about everyone in this room. My family, they hold me up. We all hold each other up. And I have cried to this song more times than I can tell you. I've had horrible days, and on the way down to rehearsal, and knowing that I'm coming down to my family, my people who hold me up, and just happy tears rolling down my face in this song so many times. So I hope it touches you too.
I would like to dedicate it right now to the trans and non-binary communities. Because that touched me, Shauna. It touched my heart.
Thank you all
Valencia
so
College,
much.
we have one more for you.
We have 2 minutes.
2 minutes?
Do we have enough time? So that I don't know if we have enough time, but
I think we'll have to say goodbye because we have 2 minutes, or we could go out. Okay.
oh, we can. Okay.
We'll just go out with it.
We're gonna make it happen. This song is just about us all coming together and rising up, and you might know it already, but it's kind of the state of the world right now where we need to kind of bind together and rise up. Rise up. Yeah.
We all bleed the same.
Broken down and tired of living life on a merry-go-round. You can find the fighter, but I see it in you, so we gon' walk it out. Ooh, mountains, we gon' walk it out. And our eyes up, rise like the day. Now rise up, rise unafraid. Now rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. And our eyes up, high like the waves. I'll rise up, in spite of the ache. I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. You. And the silence isn't quiet, and it feels like it's getting hard to breathe. And I know you feel like dying,
love you.
Thank you so much, Divine AF. That was very powerful. That was awesome. And we'll see you at 3 for the live Q&A with you guys, as well as some of the panelists that we have coming up. Right now, we're going to have a special message from Representative Carlos Guerrero Smith.
Amanda Alviar, Oscar Arancena Montero, Corey James Cannell, Mercedes Marisol Flores, Juan Ramon Guerrero, Jason Benjamin Josephat, Luis Omar Ocasio Capo. On June 12, 2016, these 7 members of the Valencia College family were taken by hate at Pulse nightclub. We must always say their names. We must always remember their legacy. It's been 4 years since these 7 Valencia angels and 42 other angels were taken from our community, and the lives of many in Orlando and many families joining us today were changed forever. My name is Carlos Guillermo Smith. I am your state representative, and I am humbled to have the opportunity to join you today for this event in this space centered on remembering those beautiful souls. This annual remembrance at Valencia has become an important tradition to not only promote the ongoing healing from this tragedy, but also to help new generations of students understand the tremendous impact that these losses had on this institution and this community. During this year's remembrance, we face unique challenges, to say the least, and people are vulnerable. Underneath the rainbow colors, underneath Orlando United, there is still pain. There is still suffering. There is still unimaginable grief. COVID-19 and the need to social distance has left many feeling more than just physically alone, but emotionally isolated. The painful injustices that we continue to see against Black and African American communities pour salt on many wounds that need attention in the form of dialogue, understanding, and action to right these wrongs. But there is hope. Hope that we can find comfort in one another, comfort in community and in family, in our chosen family and our friends, to be able to make it through these times together as one Orlando United. I want to offer my tremendous gratitude and thanks to the amazing Valencia students, staff, and faculty who poured their hearts into this annual tribute year after year. Thank you for honoring our 49 angels, especially Amanda, Oscar, Corey, Mercedes, Juan, Jason, and Luis. We honor them today with this remembrance, but we honor them every day with action. Thank you.
All right, so let's just start off first with like an introduction of you all and what you do, how long you've been doing it for. Let's just start off with that first.
Oh, okay. You ready?
Sure. Hi, I'm Midori Sauer.
Hi, I'm BJ Stevens.
And we are drag queens in the Orlando, Florida area.
Yeah, and we're also the co-hosts of Life is a Drag, which we come to your schools to tell you all about a little bit of drag history, drag culture, as well as how to become fabulous like we are. So today, we're actually doing something a little different.
Correct. It is Pride Month. And along with that, along with all the celebrations of Pride, here in Orlando, we also have the Remembrance. We're on the 5-year anniversary of the Pulse Massacre.
That's right. For those of you that may not have been there, that was a situation where a very troubled, very confused, very angry man decided that he didn't like people of color, he didn't like gay people, he didn't like a whole lot of people, and his way to deal with that anger was to go into the Pulse nightclub here in Orlando on a Saturday night when it was a very crowded night with assault weapons and opened fire on the people that were doing no more than dancing and enjoying and being with friends and having an evening of happiness and joy. He decided that he needed to stop that. And the way that he stopped that was by basically shooting and killing. Eventually, there were 49 victims, 49 beautiful, beautiful young people of varying races, varying cultures, varying ages. One of the victims was I believe she was, I want to say 50-year-old. She was actually there with her son. And they were enjoying, it was Latin night, so there was a lot of Latin dance music and they were all dancing. And she gave her life. She threw herself in front of her son to save him. Excuse me, I get a little upset.
Even 5 years later, it still rings true. As performers in the area, as I was a dance teacher at the time, and I was actually intending on going. We had a show that evening. And I was going to head over to Pulse. Dogs.
We have a dog who's decided he needs to become
He wants airtime.
Really? Yeah, he's a Chihuahua that thinks he's a pit bull. But
as performers in the area, we had a show that evening, and afterwards I was planning on going to meet up with some friends for Latin night because I enjoy salsa and bachata and merengue music, and dancing with boys. It's a good time. So I was planning on heading over there. Luckily, I did not that evening. After the show, I was a little bit wiped out and did a little chill night. But yeah, we have friends, and even 5 years later, it still hurts a little bit. It's still you think you're over it, but then it comes back for a second.
Comes back. Yeah. I mean, I just went to the memorial again for the first time in probably 5 years. My husband and I just went like a week ago. And you think, oh, okay, I've gone past all of this. I've put it in a proper perspective. And then you go there and you see faces and it all kind of comes back again. So
it does. Granted, I wasn't there, but I remember waking up the next morning to the text messages and missed calls because I was supposed to be there.
Yeah. Oh my God. Are you all right?
Are you all right?
Are you all right?
Answer your phone. Because I had just had a show, so I am sleeping to everybody else. Like there's no way that phone is going to wake me up.
Yeah.
So when I did finally wake up, seeing 13 missed calls, like 50 text messages. Where are you? Message me back. Things like that. And then just hearing the news all day, going over this is what happened. We don't know how many people are injured, how many people had died, and just watching the essentially the body count rise throughout the day, and not knowing where your friends were.
Really, and that was the thing, because it was a Saturday night. People were out, people were around, people were socializing with friends, people were going and doing. We didn't know, and I mean, I had people calling me. I'm not exactly club kid barfly, but I had people calling me from across the country,
They
hearing
know
this saying, "Were you there?
You're
You know,
in
are
the
you
city.
okay?"
You're of that, of the gay world. They don't know, and I'm getting calls from people in college. I'm getting calls from people back home. Just knowing that I'm in the demographic that could have been affected. That scariness, and I mean, I did lose friends, and I did know some of the names that appeared.
Yeah. I was just processing through all this, and I got a phone call from another entertainer that I'd worked with, and we'd worked at one of the other bars in town. And I picked up the phone, and she was just in tears because she was like, "Oh my God, did you hear about Xavier?" And I was like, "Hold on, what? This was one of our dancers. A beautiful, beautiful, beautiful young man, single father, trying to raise a little baby on his own. Beautiful young man who was in the wrong place at the wrong time." And, that you kind of, when you start realizing that, wait, these are not just faces. These are people that I know, people who I've come in contact with, people whose paths I have crossed. And then, of course, to add to it, we both sing with the Orlando Gay Chorus, and it was about noontime on that Sunday.
Yeah, and so the attack happened at shortly before 2:00, shortly before closing time, and by noon the next day, we are getting emails from our community engagement person saying, "Okay, if you feel comfortable, we are going to be at Joy MCC, Joy MCC Church, and it's going to be at this time. We're going to sing this song. If you feel comfortable, please join us."
Yes, and actually,
we totally understand if not.
Yeah, it started out where we were getting emails from people saying, "Hey, listen, we need to do this. We don't know exactly what we're going to be singing. We'll figure it out when we get there. We don't worry about what you want to wear. If you want to wear one of your chorus shirts, that's fine." But this was a memorial, and it had been all thrown together, of course.
And even at that time, we didn't know if there'd be a second, attack. We didn't know if it was going to be something planned. And so, any large gathering was kind of at risk. Because they tried to throw something up real fast at like Lake Eola or at the Bushnell or Bushnell. That's my home theater. Dr. Phillips Center. So they tried to throw, but they tried to do it all like the next day, that week. That everybody tried to instantly react, and then there's always the thought in your head of like, what if there's more? What if there are others?
What if this is, because let's face it, we're just coming off of 9/11 was not that far ago. And so for people to think, oh, it could not happen in more than one circumstance. It's like, yeah, it could, really could. We're being targeted. We're under attack, and so we were all like on autopilot at that point, I think.
A lot of us, I remember a lot of us went into like shutdown mode. We are performers and we will get through this, kind of leave your stuff at the door, which is kind of what we have to do in a daily life. If you come into a show tired, you got to bring the energy back up and you got to keep going. But like singing through the tears and singing through, but I mean, at that time, I mean, we didn't even know what necessarily had happened.
Right.
The
everything was still coming in.
The dust wasn't even settled yet.
Yeah, people were just like living with their cell phones next to their ear, waiting to hear, who, what, when, and why. We're still waiting to hear why after all this. All we know is there was this guy, and he was shot by the police. He was not longer a threat, but was he part of more? And what would motivate it? Because as gay people, I mean, we're both really lucky. We're white gay males, so we have a little privileged bubble that accompanies us even being gay. But just as being members of the LGBTQIA community, the idea of being hated is nothing new. The idea of being attacked is nothing new. The idea of having things screamed at you, things thrown at you is nothing new. But the idea that somebody would take an assault weapon to literally go into a socialized place like that and create as much havoc and as death as they can for the sake of feeding their hatred. That took it to a whole new level.
I am of the generation that grew up with shootings, unfortunately. I was in school for Columbine. I was in high school for 9/11. I was in Connecticut for Sandy Hook. I was here in Florida. Parkland.
Yes.
Unfortunately, there's so many that the names start to blur together.
Yes.
And so the idea of being in a safe place, there's churches and mosques and stuff that are getting shot up. Unfortunately, it became a normal thing in the news. And that never really, affected me as hard as being in my safe space and in my city, in my bars, with my friends.
Yeah, because
that's what hit home hard to me. Of saying, I thought we'd come this far. I thought we'd made so much progress in equality, in just a social acceptance, even not even in a respect, just an acceptance. Let us be us sort of a situation. And it takes one person to turn your whole world upside down.
But talking about how far we've come to social acceptance in the midst of all of this that we're dealing with, you start seeing that out of the worst of one person starts coming the best of so many people, because we're dealing with all of this stuff, and then you turn on the news and you see that the blood banks have got lines stretching down the block with people who were not members of our community, maybe didn't even know, to their knowledge, any LGBTQIA people, maybe didn't have any friends that were POCs. They did not know any of these people, but the humanity of itself, these people are stepping up, and they're waiting in line in the hot sun for hours to donate blood to help out for these people, because they knew that there was a need. And it was a case of, what can I do? And people, they went to the blood banks, they made donations, they opened their wallets, they opened their hearts. And, so out of all of this, you look around and you kind of go, we have made a positive impact. All the stuff that we have done has touched some people, enough people. It's touched them enough so that they're willing to go. They're not just watching this on TV and clucking their tongues and going, oh, isn't that shame? Isn't that horrible? Isn't that a heartbreak? They're getting up off of the couch, getting in the car, driving down and taking their day to say, I'm not a first responder. I'm not a doctor. I'm not this, but this is something I can do.
And that outpouring that happened the next day made my city of Orlando come alive. Every blood bank was, overflowing with people. And then there's the people on top of that I myself, as a gay man, I'm not allowed to give blood.
Sure.
But donating water, donating food, to these people that are just standing in line in the heat. There are people, giving up their umbrellas and stuff just so that people can have shade, because they're standing out. It wasn't meant to happen. None of this was meant to happen. And the city just came out in so many ways. The people and the humanity, over all of this tragedy, the humanity came out for support of our neighbors.
And that's what, I try to keep focusing on, is the people who, in varying levels of involvement, stepped up, in varying levels of interaction with our community, stepped up, because we knew that the LGBTQIA community, we knew that they were going to step up. That was not a question. We knew that as a community, we all realized we were under attack and we needed to go into triage mode. But what was so remarkable was to see the people, that this was not their community. We were not their peeps, but we were fellow human beings. And to see the number of people who were able to give of themselves and would come up. I had people come up to me when we would be at events, and of course you've got the people coming up and we're just in tears. I can't tell you how many people that I hugged while they cried it out. But we also had people come up to just say, are you okay? You know, can I give you a hug? Do you need to cry it out? And that was what was really nice, because when you see that, when you see the people that are saying, I care, I'm concerned, I want to help, and they know there's not much they can do. You know, they're not in the operating rooms risking their whatever to try to save people. They were saying, I can't do that, but I can do this. And sometimes it was just as simple as, you know, people coming to these memorials, holding up big, huge signs saying free hugs, just for the people that needed to get a hug, that needed to have somebody to hold them and to be physically enveloping them and saying, I'm here for you, I'm here to protect you. You know, you see that kind of stuff, and that's the kind of thing that in the midst of all of this horrible, you know, this stuff that's happening, you see the good stuff coming. That's, you know, where the phrase Orlando Strong, it wasn't just a hashtag. It wasn't just a cliche, a bumper sticker. You actually saw that happening, and it continued on. It wasn't just right after the Pulse shooting. It continued on, you know, for weeks, months. Now we're even into years, and you've got people that, you know, are saying, okay, it's not fresh, but there's still work that needs to be done. What can I do? You know, we had the thing, I know, like going back to, we talked about singing in the chorus. We actually are part, as a chorus, we're part of an international choral organization. And it just so happened that every 4 years, they have a big international music festival. They have gay, lesbian, bi, trans choruses come from all over the world. And they meet for a week-long, big, huge music festival. And we were prepared to go. We had our little set, of course, being from Orlando. We were going to sparkle and we were going to twinkle and we were going to give them all the showbiz.
Orlando magic set with Disney
everything.
and
I mean,
Harry
we had this whole thing going. And the Pulse shooting occurred 3 weeks before we were supposed to go. You know, so obviously there's like major cosmic, seismic shift in what are we going to do? And so we put together a whole new show, and we knew it was not the most polished, perfect show that was going to be there. But we got there, and everybody from choruses, Sydney, Australia, Paris, you know, London, choruses from the Middle East, from all over. Every time people saw us in our Orlando Gay Chorus t-shirts, they were so outpouring with their love and their support and saying, we're with you.
I remember during the, they opened it up with like kind of the home chorus sings kind of a concert to welcome everybody. And they dropped, I think they were doing like God Bless America or America the Beautiful or something like that. And then they dropped banners from the rooftops that said like, we love Orlando, Orlando Strong. And it's all signed by members of their chorus, which we now, as the Orlando Gay Chorus, we now own those as a gift. And seeing that happen was the first time for me. I went into shutdown mode. I was singing at events, you know, almost every night. I remember for weeks, I just had my shirt, my Orlando Gay Chorus t-shirt and like jeans in the car. And I would get a message and I go, okay, at 6 o'clock, I need to be at this place.
It's like the shirt hasn't been laundered lately. They'll deal with it.
Yeah, it was just, we were on call to sing at candlelight vigils, at memorial services, at funerals, at churches, at celebrations of life. You know, whatever the case may be, they gave us a call and we showed up. We were in a Publix parking lot for a Publix employee that had passed away. We were in like full sun, you know, in Dr. Phillips. We were there were so many like odd places, like TV news segments and things like that. And we literally just lived with our uniform in our car, ready to go when we got the call. And, you know, if you were flexible, you took off of work real quick and you're like, I have a gig, and everybody, like in my job at least, everybody went, go,
Exactly.
we can cover you. Like,
Exactly.
that's fine. Because they knew that at that point, I had a higher purpose than having to work that night.
And I work with clients. I work on appointments with clients, and I would call clients up and say, hey, listen, I know I've got you scheduled at 4 o'clock on Thursday afternoon. Here's the thing. And it was the same thing. I did not have a single client respond with, well, wait, that's going to be an inconvenience for me. You know, everybody said, okay, you go do what you do. And, you know, it went even past the stuff with the chorus. I mean, as drag queens, as entertainers, the people know you need to have some sort of entertainment to bring the crowds together. Now, obviously, the crowds were coming together because of this, but as entertainers, we would get asked, hey, listen, can you come and perform? We're raising money for, there are members of this, the shooting, victims of the shooting, whose families refused to come pick their bodies up. They would disown them. They abandoned their bodies at the funeral homes.
There were still, like, we think that we've come so far, but there were still people that legit, they were outed upon their death because their family, whether they were Hispanic or religious, or, you know, they just, maybe they didn't necessarily agree with their lifestyle, or you just moved away and you never had to tell them, sort of a thing. They were finding out, A, their child died, B, their child was at a gay bar.
Yeah.
And then they decided, and in turn didn't accept, you know, the body for burial, or for Emmanuel.
Yeah.
They needed money to raise his son now.
Yeah.
You know, he left behind children, and he, you know, didn't have the funds. He's working, you know, as a dancer. He was at Disney. He was in the bars.
You know,
but he leaves behind a son, and someone has to take care of that. I remember going to the toy drive, and, you know, books and toys and clothes and you know, whatever people could give at that moment to help support just one family.
Yeah.
And when you multiply that by 49 families that are all grieving in their own way and all having needs of their own.
Because a lot of these families, let's face it, were not incredibly affluent. It may have been a real struggle for them to come up with the money to pay for what was necessary at this point in time. So it's like, as a female impersonator, we would go and we would, you know, do a show, and the entire focus of this show was, folks, crack open the wallet. You know, I'll get up here, I'll make a total fool out of myself. I'll roll around on the floor if that's what you want. You know, whatever will motivate you to help out. You want something in return for your donation? You want a court jester? You want a class clown? I'll do it.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me what you want. I'll be as ridiculous as you want. I will be as, you know, I will humble myself. Whatever you want, whatever you need from me as a performer, you tell me what it will take to get you to open your wallet to help these people out, and I will do it. And I was not alone. Basically, all of the entertainers in the Orlando community had the same mindset. When you put it all aside, it's like, you know what? I could use these tips, but you could use it more. I could use this money that I'm going to get paid for this booking, but you could use it more. It's okay if I don't go out and buy myself a brand new, shiny new la da 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 to treat myself for, you know, for going and doing this show and having a good night. I don't need that as much as you need this. And I mean, all of the entertainers in Orlando, basically, as a community, stepped up and said, what can I do? I may not be the biggest money-making entertainer in the world, but you know what? A group of us can get together and do something. And 5 entertainers doing something in unison is still going to be entertaining. We'll get together. We may not be the prettiest girls at the prom, but we can dance the house down. You know, I may not be the most gorgeous creature that God ever put on this planet, but I can come out, and if I can make you laugh for 2 minutes and 30 seconds doing a song that is silly and ridiculous, I'll do that. And that's what they did without question. All the entertainers stepped up and said, this is what we can do. And they did it.
And the ripple effects from one business, one gay bar, you know, was affected originally. And then you didn't want to drive in that area. It was congested with police. It was congested with the news crews and things like that. And it expanded to the neighboring community of, you know, I remember all the businesses in Soto being like, we're starting to struggle now because no one's coming to our end of town.
Right. And for a lot of them, it wasn't a case of people choosing not to go. For a lot of them, for weeks at a time, the streets were blocked off. You know, and if you happen to have a business that was in that particular area, you started hurting because you couldn't get there. B, a lot of us didn't necessarily want to drive by the scene. Even if you could get by the scene, you didn't, you know, you kind of avoided it if you could, you know, until like the beautiful memorial went up. And I still know people that haven't visited because it is too rough to go there. But yeah, and that's not because, but the Orlando community as a whole immediately stepped right up. I mean, you know, you think, okay, this was a gay bar and this was the competition for some of these other gay bars. There was never that mindset, not for one split second that I know of. And I know a lot of people at a lot of the different bars. There was never one split second of a bar saying, oh, good, now our business will become better because. Every single bar in the town, every gay business in town, and a lot of straight businesses in town immediately started right away with fundraisers, with saying, we're going to do our whole drag show tonight. You know, an entire show cast of entertainers with production numbers, blah, blah, blah. We're going to do this, and all of the money that this bar generates with this big show is all going to be donated to the One Pulse Foundation. Businesses saying, we're going to take a percentage of all of our receipts that we generate to go to the One Pulse Foundation. And these were not just gay businesses. These were businesses in general that all stepped up and said, y'all need money, because this was before the government money was coming in. You know, people don't realize it took a while for the government infrastructure to step up.
And even businesses that had nothing to do with the nightlife entertainment, with a gay population. I remember a friend works for a t-shirt screening company, and they just started printing. And they said 100% of these proceeds will go to the families, or, you know, until the actual, because it took a minute to get the One Orlando funds, you know, up and running, because, you know, you have to think through all there's a process to follow. And they just started printing t-shirts, you know, Orlando Strong, or, you know, whatever the slogans were, you know, keep on dancing, you know, whatever the phrases were. And it was 100% of the proceeds are going to this. They're like, we don't even, you know, they're putting their business, you know, I don't want to say in jeopardy, but they're putting their business on the back burner for a second, not about charging $35 for a t-shirt to make some money. They weren't taking advantage of their 100% of the proceeds going to the families.
It's also, it's like there were individual people that stepped up. There is a man who is, he performs occasionally in town, but he also is the owner of a business in town. But before all of this, he was just a member of the community, and his name is Ben Johansson, I think. He is the one that originally started making all of the little rainbow ribbons. And he did that literally, it was him starting out, and then it got to some friends, and it got to end up being a big group over at his house. And they started with their own resources, with their own money, buying the supplies, and started making the little rainbow ribbons. And he now has had, you know, he's been lauded and he's been thanked and everything, but he has the satisfaction of knowing that there is like over 1.5 million of these little rainbow ribbons, and they're all over the world. because people would give them to friends. Well, this was something that he did, and he started doing it, the rainbow ribbons for Pulse. And he didn't make any money off of it. You know, this was not something he was doing. He was saying, you know, if you want one of these or you want to make a donation to the One Pulse Foundation, do it. And it expanded so exponentially and it grew that he ended up having hundreds of people coming over to help him out. And they would sit there with their little pins and their tacks and their hot glue guns and doing all like this to make these ribbons, because that was something he could do.
You looked for a way that you could help. I remember sitting that next day, not being able to give blood. And then I was like, okay, I will go get cases of water to bring to these people who are giving blood. And they're like, stop bringing cases of water. Like, we will never go through them.
Yeah.
And they're like, if you have like food and stuff like that, like, because you know, people are passing out basically in the heat. And I was like, okay, I will go get food. And they're like, stop bringing food, because everybody had the same mentality of what can I personally do to help this situation. And as an Orlando Gay Chorus member, we were on the fly with that first memorial service at Joy MCC Church. And our director was out of town. He's a school teacher and he was doing some summer program. Yeah. Our assistant director was on a cruise ship. It's a summer. He's a school teacher. He was off on a boat. You know, like, we went down like 3, 4, 5 people down kind of the chain of command. And all of a sudden the outreach coordinator, she looks at me and she goes, "You conducted in high school, didn't you?" And I was a drum major, meaning I swung my arms in front of a marching band. And I ended up conducting the music that night. It was whatever I could do, you know, and for that soloist to keep it together, she and I were good friends. And she just stared straight at me. She's like, "I'm not looking at anyone else because I will lose it. And that's not what we can have." And then all of a sudden we're on BBC of, you know, this is what's happening in Orlando right now, because it's world news. And, you know, it's the back of my head while, you know, my friends and family basically are singing True Colors and, you know, You'll Never Walk Alone. And, you know, any song that we could celebrate the lives, or we could remember them, or just to help process and help the city process. That was our calling at that moment in time of what we could do.
And that was the thing, the community as a whole, everybody was doing that kind of stuff. Everybody was stepping up to say, "What do you want? What do you need? What can I do?" Okay, and it was the grunt work. It was the grunt work. Okay, hey, we're doing all this. We need to have people go grab a whole bunch of cardboard boxes from Publix. And we're going to be loading this stuff in cardboard boxes and taking it to people's houses. Okay, I got my car. Let me run over to Publix and grab those cardboard boxes. You know, that's not the glamorous stuff. That's not the stuff that you see people smiling and waving and posing for the news cameras. You know, these were people who said, it doesn't have to be pretty. It doesn't have to be glamorous. It doesn't have to be frontline news. What do you need? I'll do it.
And that's the beautiful thing about this city, is that I've been in other places where bad things have happened and they've gone like, "Oh, that's a shame," and nothing ever happens or nothing ever changes. That marked a change, I think, in Orlando. The bar, like BJ said, the bars, the rivalries of businesses and stuff went away. The crowds started to mix more. It truly brought people together. In an unfortunate situation, brought a bunch of beautiful people out of the woodwork and back into the community to unite us more.
Well, and because it's so much the situation where we have, as people, not just gay people, but as people, we have such a tendency to hang with our own. We form our own little ghettos, if you will. We form our own little pods, our own little, you know, our posses. And that was, if there is any good that came from the Pulse shooting, that's exactly what it was. We realized that the city of Orlando, the LGBTQIA, the black, brown, pink, white, green, red, yellow, whatever color skin you happen to have, we are all the community. We are all in this together. As trite and as cliche as that sounds, we are all in this together. And It don't matter if I've never met you before. I'm hurting, you're hurting. If I can hold on to you and you can hold on to me, and it makes each of us feel a little less alone, then that's what we all do. And that's what, as a community, we did. You would see total strangers at memorials. Total strangers would come up to each other, and there was not necessarily even any conversation sometimes. People would just see each other and say, you need to be supported. I need to be supported. And people, you know, and honey, you would see middle-aged, rich, white, yuppie Winter Park crowds, you know, coming up and be hugging on people who were from, you know, down on the Paramore, you know, because we were all, at that point, we were all in it together. You know, so that was the good part that came out of all of this, was that it made people, for a time, start to say, it ain't all about me. It's about us. You know, and it's unfortunate because we backslid a little bit, as people are apt to do. We're not perfect. We're not always the most noble of creatures. But in spite of even the backsliding, that's one thing that the remembrance of Pulse has shown us, is that, you know, not only be there for yourself, but be there for your community. Be there for the people that need you, because you may not be the person who needs right now, but you don't know what tomorrow's going to bring.
It always reminds me of Mr. Rogers has like a famous quote, and I'll probably butcher it, but he says that his mother said, whenever something bad was happening, look for the helpers, look for the angels. And that's how he dealt with the bad, was looking for the good. And as terrible as Pulse was, there was a lot of good that eventually came out.
Right. And we're still feeling the ripples of that good. Even today, you know, you're feeling the ripples of that good, where you're once you touch base. And that's, you know, that's one thing where we always talk about with gay people. It's like one of the most powerful things that a person who happens to be LGBTQIA can do is, when it's right for them, but is to come out. Because it's so much harder to hate someone you know. It's very easy to hate a stereotype. It's very easy to hate a cliche. It's very easy to hate them, whoever them is. It's very easy to hate them. But when you start to know who they are, and you start to see that, wow, okay, we may be different in these ways, but we're exactly alike in these ways. You know, and that's one thing I think that this showed Orlando, is that no matter how different and how oogly boogly spooky some of whatever these, you know, stereotypes that people were having to work through, when you got to meet people that represented all of those stereotypes, whatever those stereotypes were, you know, skin color, sexual orientation, socioeconomic strata, whatever it was, whatever it is that makes you afraid of somebody else. When you start to meet people like that, then you start to go, oh, okay, yeah, okay, you know, I got you on that one.
Hearing those, the individual stories, and as heartbreaking as they were, made humans out of the names that we had heard. Like, you know, there was a point in time that you could almost recite the names with the news. Or you're like, in 3 more, they'll show my friends. You know, because you knew the lineup, and you knew the list, and you knew it was coming. But then hearing the mother that did this, and you're like, oh, I didn't even think of a mom being at a gay bar. Yeah. You know, and that hits someone and sees them more as a human. Or the single dad that, you know, XYZ.
The young girl that was celebrating graduating from high school, was getting ready to go off to college.
and the straight dad that then looks across the dinner table to his daughter going, it could have been her.
Yeah.
She's the age, she's exactly like that girl. And I mean, it wasn't just gay people. There were other people. There's allies, there's friends, there's people were celebrating birthday parties and whatnot. It was people from every walk of life. It was at a gay bar because it was a safe place for a lot of people to go and have fun, and those people had already gotten over whatever issues they might have had, but now it brought to life that we're more than just gay people. We're teachers, and we're moms and dads and brothers and sisters, and that's what made the names human to a lot of people that didn't know these people. We were very connected to some of them, and when I saw the pictures, that's when it hit me. I didn't know a lot of names.
Well, yeah,
but
you
saw
know,
them
know of people, and you know people on a very I don't want to say casual level, because it's not only that, but people on a very like a first name basis, and you see them every time you go out. You cross paths and know that you may not know their entire backstory, but they're not a stranger. And that's when you start seeing the faces of the people, and you start hearing the stories, and you start realizing that these were people who had lives ahead of them. These were not just like, that was it, story's over. These were stories that had so many chapters yet to still be written that were not going to be written. And when you see the people stepping up to represent that, I remember one story that was really on the news a lot. There were two young men that they were there, and they were together. They were committed. They were, I don't want to say married, but they were coupled. They were very much a couple, and had planned their life together. And as a matter of fact, had planned a wedding ceremony together. And they were both, unfortunately, victims of the Pulse. And the mother of the one of them was very, very visible. She made herself available for a lot of the news stories, and would talk about the two of them and that they were as a couple. She would talk about her son, but they would talk about that they were a couple. And I remember that when it came time, they were having a joint memorial service for the two of them. And she, had talked about that this was something they were doing together. And we heard that the Fred Phelps group, the Hate Church group,
Westboro Baptist.
The Westboro Baptist group had planned, they were going to come into Orlando, and they were going to make a big stink at the memorial service for these two young men, because they were such godless heathens, and the mother was such a horrible person because she let her child become so corrupted, and they were just going to make a big stink. Well, where there was a group of people in town, and they were all from the arts community. They were a lot of people that were involved in live theater and music and things like this. And we knew of them. I knew a lot of them. And they found out about this. And basically, very, very, very quickly, they became the Orlando Angels. And it was like they took a cue from earlier on when the people were protecting the victims. They decided they were going to go down there, and they created their angel costumes with the big, huge white wings on them to cover everything. And they went down there, and they literally stood there. And they did not necessarily know these young men, but they went down and they stood there, and with their wings, they formed a barricade to shield the people at the memorial from these people who had come down, who were screaming the most vile, godless, hate-filled things. These people, they took it. They faced these people down and stood there and held their wings aloft to form a wall of love to protect.
I remember I was heading to one of the outreaches that we were doing, and I just kept hearing motorcycles and I could not figure out what was going on. And basically what had happened was an entire like group of men on Harleys were just revving in front of the event. And you're like, what is happening? And I was getting irritated at the Harley noise, like at the revving engines. And I realized then across the street, because they weren't allowed to come, you know, within certain distance, there was a group of people that were protesting this memorial service. And so these Harley guys are just revving engines so no one can hear the noise that they were putting out into the world. And it's those little acts, those are the helpers and those are the angels that whether they've visibly blocked signs or if they rev their engine to drown out the noise and the chaos, those are the ones that still strike me today.
And that was Orlando strong. That was Orlando as a community. So that was good.
I need
Cut a little break time. Shift gears. I think we got plenty of that. Don't you think we got plenty of? We can move into something a little less. Sorry about that.
No, I told you I am not going to stop you because that was one of the most beautiful conversations that I have ever heard. And in the midst of you talking, I was writing down notes like, let me make sure I ask them this. And then you answered literally everything that I wrote down. And I immediately figured out exactly how we're going to use this piece because I can't cut this up. I can't piece this. I have to let this whole thing play. And I have figured out, and we'll talk to my team about a whole nother way to use this, because this section right here, I can't break that up. I can't let my students not hear that. So thank you.
If you want, like, not to rehash it, but like smaller things, like obviously we need to get you what you need to. Yeah.
So now that we've done that, now we need to go into a little bit more. We brought it down. Now let's bring it back up a little bit.
I got you 100%. Yes. Okay. So now we can do the intros into each of our campuses in their videos. We actually gave each of our campuses a song. One of our students made a playlist, and each of them had a song that they were in charge of doing videos to. So we'll do each of those individually. Okay.
Cool. So okay.
So yeah, so all you have to do is just kind of introduce and say like, hey, this is, the East Campus, however you want to do it. This is East Campus singing, dancing to this and this song. Okay.
Okay. So it's East Campus. What is the song that they're doing?
So East Campus's song is "I Want to Dance with Somebody" by Whitney Houston.
Yeah, all right then. We can do.
Do you want to do Here's the East Campus?
I think we should talk a little bit about Want to Dance with Some of the big girls, the drag queen. I want to dance with somebody. It's like that's in the drag queen playbook. That is like, girl, there's got to be a drag queen somewhere on that East Campus who said that's the song, because I'm sorry, but it's perfect. So yeah, we can do all that. Yeah, okay. You want to take?
You just went on a whole spiel about. Okay. So here's our East Campus dancing to, what was it? I Want to Dance with Somebody?
I Want to Dance with Somebody. Now, children, we know there had to be a drag queen somewhere in that committee planning that, because I Want to Dance with Somebody by Whitney Houston. Hello.
That is a queen staple in our book of go-tos.
That it's right there in the book, right next to The Greatest Love of All. So East Campus, you all rocked, and we expect you to work it, children. Work it.
Love it, love it. Okay, so the next one is the Winter Park campus, and their song was "Don't Stop Me Now" by Queen.
Okay, so we are on to Winter Park doing "Don't Stop Me Now" by Queen.
Oh, the tasteful Winter Park crowd doing Freddie Mercury. You gotta love that. "Don't Stop Me Now." Love that song. Love that. And you know what? It's true. Don't stop them.
Don't stop. Don't stop me. Don't stop me.
Don't stop me. Ooh, 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 yes.
Take it away, Winter Park.
Take it, Winter Park. Go on, girls.
Oh, I love you guys. You know exactly what to do. I love it. Okay. All right, next one is West Campus is doing I'm Coming Out by Diana Ross.
I got it. You got that one. Okay.
Okay, West Campus, y'all are going old school. And as an old school girl myself, I appreciate that. Diana Ross, the diva herself, I'm coming out. She said it all.
Let's hear it. I'm coming out. Da-da. I want the world to know. And we want to see what you got, West Campus.
That's West Campus. You better come out and come out loud, proud, and hit it.
Yes. Okay. Next one is Downtown Campus is doing Groove is in the Heart.
Wait, Kier,
who's
it Delight?
Do you know who the song's by?
Delight.
Delight. There you go.
She knows. This is you. Okay, so we are moving on to the Downtown Campus doing Groove is in the Heart.
Yes, that's right. Downtown, where all the lights are bright, and so is the music. Groove is in the heart. Girl, I cannot tell you how many times Mother has shaken her groove thing to this particular song. So y'all,
let's see what you got.
Hit it and bring it.
All right. Osceola Campus is doing Born This Way by Lady Gaga.
Okay, this is one of my songs. This is one of my jams. So Osceola Campus, do not let me down with Lady Gaga's Born This Way.
That's right. Miss Gaga to you all. That's right.
Let's see those little monsters.
Don't be a drag.
Just
be a queen. Hit it.
All right. Poinciana Campus is doing Freedom by George Michael.
All right, Poinciana Campus. That's right. Everybody's doing all the divas, and you all decided to pick the male diva, the one and only Mr. George Michael. Oh, baby, he was so delicious. Yes, singing all about something we all need to know.
Let's hear Freedom.
Freedom, that's right. Because that boy can shake his maracas anytime he wants with me. I'm sorry. George Michael, Freedom, y'all done right, Poinciana Campus. Work it. Let's hear it.
And last but not least, Lake Nona Campus is doing Love Myself by Haley Steinfeld.
She's the girl from ABBA, right?
No.
Not from ABBA, from Mamma Mia. Is that Haley Steinfeld?
See, you're asking the wrong person about this because we're both old. So anyway, but anyway, we'll fake it. Love Myself. You know what?
Love Myself?
All right.
I can look it up and play it if you want, because honestly, like I said, my students picked this out and I was like, I don't recognize that one.
That's okay. You know what? The message is exactly right, because children, in the words of Mama RuPaul, if you can't love yourself, how are you going to love somebody else? So girls, boys, and everything in between.
Let's hear it for Lake Nona doing Love Myself
by Haley Steinfeld.
Love it. Awesome. Awesome. Okay, so that was all of the campuses.
I think she's the skinny blonde girl that was in like Les Mis and Mamma Mia. Is that Haley Steinfeld? I'm gonna have to look her up later.
Yeah. I'm not sure.
I don't know. Okay, so now what do we got?
So now we want to do a couple things. So with this video, with you all hosting, we also have a DJ. I'm not sure if you know him. He's local, DJ Orlando.
Remember, I like it.
There you go. All right, Orlando.
Yes. So we have him DJing. So the beginning of it is going to be our video of our campuses. At the end, he's going to DJ for a little bit longer and things like that. So we wanted to get something where we kind of almost with the two of you interacting virtually. So it would be somewhere where you all, would kind of take over. So you all are the takeover of the video from Orlando. So he'll start it off an intro and you all come in and you're like, move out of the way, Orlando. We got this now. So if you can do something like that and,
No, he's
like
just, so it's just to get the children dancing, or what is it? What are we taking over?
Just to get them dancing, just to get the party started, let them know, like, you may do the music, but we're the show.
Oh, Lord. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, we got to be pushy. That's so foreign to my nature. All right. You want to say?
Okay, DJ Orlando, that sounds wonderful, but remember that we are the show here
That's right.
tonight.
That's right. You can whomp and stomp and you can give them the beats, but children, we're giving them the beauty. So here's the thing. We love some music. We want to dance. We want to whirl. We want to twirl like a couple of big old girls. But it's all about this. It's all about this. So, Mr. DJ Orlando, you had your moment, son. Now you need to step aside, sit down, and let the real divas show you how to work the room.
That was perfect. I love it.
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, I'm gonna work a room.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You'll work.
It's like I didn't bring heels.
That's okay. You can work. You can work. Bitch is sitting here with hairy legs, hairy ass. Of course. Hey, listen, Mom. I'm saying we're both here in our tidy whities, so it's like, I'm sorry, but it's like, you can be diva from the waist up and still be dude from the waist down.
It's a Zoom call.
Hello. That's right. It still works. It still works.
I don't think I've been working remotely for about a year now. I don't think I've worn real clothes this entire time. It's like pajamas and leggings and things.
Going back out in public, we just did a show, and I had to get back into my like dress pants, and I was like, oh no, oh no.
That's
like I haven't worn a belt in a year.
That's when you invest in things that have a little bit of spandex in them. I learned that first. I learned that as a girl, because when I was working doing shows, I was hosting shows, and I had like that long to make a costume change. So everything stretches and pulls on because you just go zippers and buttons and stuff like that. That's for the rich folks. And I've taken that into my real life. It's like every time I go to find something, it's like, and how much give does this have? Because this COVID-19 did not do me well. Mine was more like about COVID-20, I think. But you know what? That's all right. But now we got to get back out in the real world.
Oh,
now I know we got to start integrating. Well, it's like we've got a show coming up next week. We're driving up to Gainesville to do a live show, and it's going to be like, you mean I got to put high heels on? You
get to sit at a table and do your makeup half the time. I have to like walk around and be cute. And
oh, girl, listen to her complain. I've got about a hot minute and a half to put this face on in increments. I got to do it, look up, do it, look up, do it, look up. And she's talking about, she got her slide projector with her clicker. She got the slide projector and the clicker.
But I have
she
to wear
thinks she got it rough.
Yeah. It's a different world now that I have to dress, more than this much of my body.
Yeah, because we have to come out here, you got to put shoes on, you got to move around, and it's like, oh Lord, wait a minute.
Tights and hip pads.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Boobs.
That we'll see. She's skinny. She's skinny. She don't have to do as much stuff as that. When you're a large and lovely lady such as myself, oh girl, like corset on top of corset on top of girdle. It's like, oh, can't even breathe. So I'm doing it right.
Nope.
But that's okay.
I won't do it.
That's why we love Zoom calls.
Yes.
Zoom calls from the nipples up. That's all you get. From the nipples up.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I don't want to go back. I know there are people that are literally, I saw an article the other day, they were like, people are literally quitting their jobs because they don't want to go back in person. I was like, that might be.
But see, there will be a new wave of how companies do business.
Yeah. All these companies have said, oh no, it won't work for you to work from home. Now people are going, bitch, yes, we have proven that yes, it does work.
And some companies closed up their physical location and said, we're all remote because you are doing your jobs. Meaning they don't have the overhead and get even more money from whatever their product is. And so they're like, this makes sense for both of us.
Everybody would. And for you, girl, just a quick tip, since you've been Zooming and now you might have to be a real person, trust and believe, girl. Caftans are a boy's best friend and they can be your best friend. We are, honey, big and blousy is the rule of the land. Let me tell you what, if you can't lose it, just cover it up and make it pretty.
Yeah, just throw some sparkles at it.
Throw some sparkles at it. When in doubt, Sequins always work. Just remember that. When in doubt, sequins always work.
I am going to take that advice very much so. I have turned into,
A
now
little-
that I have to go out a
makeup-
little bit.
If a little makeup is good, too much is better. And the bigger the hair, the smaller the ass.
I love it. Yes, I will take that very much so, because I have turned into, like, if it's not a comfy dress or a nice, big, pretty shirt, like, then I'm not going. I can't go.
Elastic waist. Everything's got to have an elastic waist.
Yes, yes. I found some pants the other day and I was like, okay, these are stretch. Okay, great. This is what I'm buying now.
That's it. That's it. But isn't it amazing? You can still look good. That's the thing. If you search for it, you can still look good.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, you know, hey, I'm not going to cinch in unless I have to. So it's like overshirts and well-cut pants. I'm good. I'm good. I can't tell you the last time I tucked a shirt in. It's like, nope, they ain't doing nope. Even my t-shirts we perform in, we have our little black t-shirts and we wear them with black pants. And you can tell the people who have made it unscathed through the last year and the people that haven't. Because there's some people that will tuck their t-shirts in and they got their little belts and everything. And the rest of us are just like, nope, it's just hanging free. It's just hanging loose. Nope.
I bought a pair of high-waisted pants, so it hits like on my natural waist. So it looks a little bit crazy, but that's where I'm the thinnest. So it just disguises everything
There
else.
you go. And you can wear them as Midori.
Yep.
There you go. Unisex clothing. Yeah.
Yeah, clothes are clothes. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care what
If it
department
doesn't matter
you
if it
come
buttons
from.
this way or buttons that way, who cares? If it's a pretty shirt, it's a pretty shirt.
If it fits me, I wear it.
There you go. So what else do you need from us?
Let's get let me get a few more things from you. If you know of any resources in the area that you can share, that would be great for us to like put towards the end of the video for our students to know about the resources in the area.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we've got like the community center, LGBTs.
Yes, so there are so many resources in Orlando, and you can easily Google them and probably find out more than we have. We work a lot with the center on Mills. I believe they also have a spot in Kissimmee.
Yeah, they just opened a second location.
There's 26 Health, which is health for every letter of the alphabet. There's the Zebra Coalition.
Which is really relevant probably for a lot of your students because they're dealing with young LGBTQIA youth who may not have a place to live, may not have any food, may not have anything like that. So these are, you know, maybe some of y'all's peers that y'all need to help out.
Yeah, there's tons of places, and if you swing by even any of the bars, they probably have like the pamphlets and stuff up at the front.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, also you can look if you're interested in any information. The Watermark, which is a Central Florida-based LGBTQIA and more newspaper, and it's available at most gay-friendly allies establishments. It's the Watermark, and they do stories on what's happening politically, what's happening socially, what's happening in the religious communities, because there are friendly religious communities in this area, which is something that maybe a lot of people don't know. They think that it's like gay, religious, and never the twain shall meet. No, they can come together. But the Watermark is a great resource. It covers not only the Orlando area, but it also covers the Tampa area and most of the Central Florida, you know, outlying areas there. It's got all sorts of businesses. There's an organization called the MBA, which is the Metropolitan Business Association, which is, it's like a LGBTA chamber of commerce. It's all businesses that are working to work within the community. So most of them are gay owned and operated, but not all of them. There are some that have just chosen to ally themselves with it. So there's that, which can access a lot of resources for people. You know, they may be looking for a doctor. They may be looking for a dentist. They may be looking for an attorney. They may be looking for a realtor. They may be looking for all of these different things. You know, they may be looking for a great place to go get a burger. All of these different places, you know, you can access through the MBA, or you can read about them in the Watermark. You can go to the people at the center. Yeah, I mean, there's a variety of resources available for people in this area.
Or just add us on Facebook.
Yeah, well, we talk about everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where can they find you on social media?
I am Majori Sauer. You can find that on Facebook.
I am BJ Stevens, and you can find that on Facebook also. So, check us out. We'll try to keep some postings. If you got any questions,
feel free, for me at least. I am constantly stuck to my phone. So I have gotten messages after shows, an hour after, thank you for coming, whatever. And then I get like sideline questions of, I see that you are a performer and my child is interested in doing that. So I will answer pretty much any question.
Oh, heck yes. Oh, heck yes. As long as they're asked respectfully.
Correct. I will not marry you. No. I have a lot of Saudi men that would like to marry
exactly.
me.
I was like,
that's not happening.
And I don't care if you are straight but curious or bi-curious and you want to know if these are real. No, they're not. It's like, no, I have no desire to be some bi-curious man's side piece. So bless your heart for asking, but no. Her, on the other hand, she's all about the box side piece. She's all about the side piece. No, I've got a husband. I'm very happily married with that, so we're good. I don't need anything else. This is the bitch that's desperate and clinging.
Oh my God, I love. Okay, so how can people, being that this video is going to be about, like Pride Month as a whole, how can people support as an ally or within the LGBTQIA community? How can they continue support beyond this month?
I got this. Okay. Pride Month is a remembrance time of the original Stonewall riots. And what you can do in this day, we've come so far, but realize that we still have a lot more work to do. In past Pride parades, they've actually outlawed and banned different groups from, being in the parade, like in the main New York parade. And that is something that we cannot continue to do. In '78, they tried to ban all cross-dressers and trans women because they didn't want to be associated with the freaks of that time. And so I always love the story of Marsha P. Johnson and Sylvia Rivera decided to march in front of the parade. So they were not part of the parade, but when everybody that was watching the parade got to see it, they saw two trans women walking the streets right before the Pride Parade. So what you can do in this parade is support all of the other people that are in the parade. I know I've given the side eye and I tried to learn every once in a while when I see like a church group go by and I'm like, really short, But everybody there has their mission to bring up this community, and it is a community and it takes all kinds to make the community.
And that's it. A lot of it just comes down to like one word: respect. You respect yourself. You respect the people around you. You respect people that are not just like you. You may not love them. You may not endorse everything that they say or everything that they do, but you respect them. That can translate out 365, 24/7. You respect the people that are in your community. I'm not necessarily a huge, big Harley fan, but child, when I see the Dykes on Bikes go rolling down, I'm like, yes, woo! Yes, whoop, whoop.
And as an ally, you might not feel like you're welcome at Pride, or might not be welcome at the gay bar or something like that. You are more than welcome to, but what you can do for the community is your actions speak louder than our words sometimes. So attending our events and buying tickets to shows, or whatever that the case may be, whatever you can do. But then also politically, where you spend your money, how you vote, how looking at the topics that might not affect you as assuming a straight ally, it might not affect you, but you don't know what your brother does, or whatever the situation may be. So how you spend your money, where you spend your money, who you endorse for things, the language you use, you never know who's listening, and you never know what you're endorsing unless you're conscious
and that's
about
another, educate yourself. Educate yourself. That's something that doesn't have to begin and end in June. Educate yourself. Find out because your these people that are, young college students, you're the ones that are up and coming. You're going to set the tone. You're going to have to carry the banner for a little bit. You're going to have to run your portion of the race. There's things that you can do that I can't do because I'm old and tired. My feet hurt.
I just don't like running.
Yeah, but you're the young generation that's coming up. Find out. Don't just say, oh, well, who knows? Yeah, I guess that city commissioner is probably all right. I'll vote for them when you go to vote. Educate yourself. Find out where people stand. Find out, like Benori said, there are businesses out there that, and I'm not saying you have to be super woke. You don't have to have all that, but there are businesses out there that have got a history of supporting the LGBTQIA community. There are businesses out there that have a history of opposing the LGBTQIA community. Find out. And honey, with social media the way it is, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to access all this information. If an old, technologically illiterate queen such as myself can find out about which fast food place to eat at and which fast food place not to eat at, if I can find that out, I know y'all that are living on your cell phones and your Twitter and your Instagram and all this other nonsense, I know you all can find out where you need to go and what you need to do.
Or what charity is church-based and does a disservice to our community and does a disservice to their work as a church-based organization.
Really, not that we're naming any names,
No.
if it were a military organization, not the Navy, not the Marines, not the Air Force, but that other military thing, we're not naming any names. We don't want to call anybody out much.
Do your research and you make your decision, because you're the ones that are going to get to decide as the next generation.
And you're the ones that are going to be impacted by these decisions. I'm old, fat, tired. I got my money put aside. They can't hurt me that much. Y'all are the ones that can be really held down and thwarted and stopped in your tracks from living your best life. There are people out there who would like nothing better than to tell you no. There are people that would like nothing better than to have you go away and not be there and not have to think about you. These people would be infinitely happier if all of the socially marginalized communities would just shut up and take what is given to them.
The easiest thing is to maintain the status quo, but the change is the scary part, it's the exciting part, and it's the needed part.
And that's what you can do 24/7, 365, 12 months a year.
Love it, love it. So now let's do a closer. If you can kind of incorporate Happy Pride Month, Valencia. We're so glad you're still dancing, and kind of whatever else in there you want to add. And let's just, hit that as a closer and then we'll be done.
Cool. Okay. You want to start?
Sure. All right. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, and thank you so much for having us here. I'm Midori Sauer.
I'm BJ Stevens, and children, we know life is a roller coaster.
But keep on dancing.
Keep on dancing. Take the highs, take the lows, and party on. Happy Pride. Enjoy and be your best self.
Happy Pride.
Bye, kids.